When it comes to building wealth, there's one sneaky expense that can quietly drain your finances without you even realizing it: your car. Whether it's a luxury sedan or a brand new SUV, cars are often the number one wealth killer. The main reason? They're a rapidly depreciating asset that loses value over time. Yet many people still splurge on them, often spending far more than they can actually afford. In today's video, I'm going to break down why cars can be such a financial trap and what you can do to avoid it. Let's get into it. The first guideline is the 25 to 35 approach. This method is all about balancing your love for cars, if you have one, with your other financial needs. If you're more of the frugal type, or perhaps you're starting off on your car ownership journey, then according to this approach, the lower end, the 25% of your pre-tax annual salary, so your gross income, that should be your target for a car purchase. On the other hand, if buying a car sits high up in your priorities and you're willing to trim down on other expenses to accommodate this, then you may be able to push that budget up to 35% of your annual income. So that means for those earning $60,000 a year, you can expect to spend between $15,000 and $21,000 based on these guidelines on a new car. If you're bringing in $80,000 a year, then you're looking at a price tag ranging between $20,000 and $28,000. And if you're on a salary of $150,000 a year, then the sweet spot for a new car purchase lies between $37,500 and $52,500 using these rules. This isn't a hard and fast rule, but it's a guideline to keep you from overdoing it. If you've got other financial commitments, or you'd prefer to allocate your funds towards other life pleasures, you want to aim towards the lower end of that. And that's what I would recommend if you're going for this approach. The next guideline you can consider, the 24-10 approach, which is a very simple yet very effective strategy when making a wise car purchase. The 20% stands for the down payment you should be making on your car. So let's say you're eyeing up a $30,000 car. That means $6,000 of that should be your down payment. If you're not able to afford $6,000, then you want to look for a car that is cheaper, below that bracket, and so one that you can afford to put down 20% of the car price for. The 4 represents the term of the car loan. So simply put, you should aim to pay off your car loan in no more than 4 years, i.e., 48 months. This helps to reduce the amount of interest you'll pay over the term of the loan, and it'll also help you make sure you don't end up underwater on your loan, i.e., owing more on your car than it's worth. And then finally, the 10% is the portion of your total monthly income that should be allocated to car expenses. So this includes not only your monthly car payment, but also things like your maintenance and your insurance. So let's plug in some numbers. Say you earn $45,000 a year, or roughly $3,750 a month. Following the 24-10 approach, your car-related expenses shouldn't go over $375 a month. To illustrate how this works, let's consider 2 scenarios. One common approach that a lot of people do, and one that strictly follows the 24-10 approach. Scenario 1. Let's say you find a car that you love priced at $30,000. You don't make a down payment, so you finance the entire amount. Your loan has an interest rate, I'm assuming, of just under 6.58%. But instead of sticking to a 4-year term loan, you decide to stretch out to a 5-year term loan, i.e., 60 months. This means your monthly car payment would be just over $500 a month, bringing the total cost of the car, the amount you're paying over the 5 years, to over $30,000. And over $5,340 of that is paid on interest alone. Scenario 2. Now let's say you're following the 24-10 rule. You buy the same $30,000 car, and this time you make a 20% down payment. So you put $6,000 down. The interest rate is the same, so we can convert this side by side. We're assuming a 6.58% interest rate, but you decide to stick to a 4-year term loan, i.e., 48 months. Your monthly payments will now actually be lower, so it'll be $571 a month. But not only that, the total cost that you pay in interest over the car loan, instead of over $5,000, it's $2,500. That's almost $2,500 less. So if we look at the total impact, the total cost of the car, using the 24-10 rule, is just under $27,500 compared to the over $35,000 if you weren't using this rule. So that's a saving you would have and how it would work if you simply followed the 24-10 rule, or a variation of it. That then leads me to the third strategy. When deciding how to acquire a car, a question that often arises is whether to pay in cash, finance it, or lease it. Let's begin by exploring cash payment versus financing. When purchasing a car, you can either use your own funds to buy it outright or finance it through a car loan. Those who opt for these paths usually plan on retaining their vehicles for an extended period and aren't overly concerned about driving the latest models. The big difference, with a loan, you need to borrow money and pay it back monthly along with interest. If you pay with your own money, you don't need a loan, so no monthly payments or interest. But there are downsides to paying in cash. You might need a lot of money upfront, which is hard if you don't have much saved. It often means buying an older, cheaper car from an individual. If the car breaks down, you might not have help. On the other hand, buying from a car dealer with cash or loan often includes warranty options and support if something goes wrong. Another downside, using your own money means you lose liquidity for other goals like a vacation, investments. For example, if you have $25,000 and spend it all on a car, it's gone. A smarter way might be to use $5,000 for a down payment and invest the rest in real estate or mutual funds. This is why financing is often the better choice. But if you don't care about investments or want no monthly payments, paying in cash could work better. It all depends on what's right for you. If you always want to drive a new car and pay less each month, leasing a car is a good choice. Leasing might be easier and cheaper, especially when dealerships have special offers with zero down payments. But remember, your credit score affects your monthly payments, upfront costs, extra charges, and interest. A higher score means better deals. A lower score means the opposite. Leasing has downsides too. Limits on how many miles you can drive, extra charges for wear and tear. You don't actually own the car. When the lease is over, you have options. Return the car and lease a new one, buy a different car, buy the leased car, walk away. Overall, for many people, leasing is a great idea. It lets you have a new car every few years without spending too much. If you really love cars, this could be the perfect fit. Now let's look at how I personally see this situation and how I'm handling it. To me, the idea of waiting for rewards in the future is important. I had experiences where not owning a car was a smart choice. As of now, I've realized that putting off buying a car makes sense for my finances. After looking into it carefully, it's clear that using ride-sharing services like Uber or taxis is a smart financial move. It's cheaper than leasing, financing, or buying a car, especially when you factor in gas, insurance, and maintenance. I'm using the money I save from not owning a car on things that matter more to me, like convenience, efficiency, and investments. That way, when I do decide to buy a car, it won't disrupt my financial goals. Numbers are useful for guidance, but they can change. It's important to see where getting a car fits into your own needs and financial plans. No matter the rules you choose to follow, the smart way is to think about this for yourself. I hope all the things we talked about today have helped you understand how to decide what car you can afford based on your salary and needs. I also hope it helps you make the right choice when you're ready to buy a car in the future. Good luck finding the right car, and I hope your journey is both exciting and good for your wallet.